Medjed, the ghost god. The strangest of the Egyptian pantheon. Imagine a god who has no face, is covered by a mysterious cloak, and has eyes that shoot beams of light while his body emanates fire. This is Medjed, a deity of ancient Egypt so peculiar that his story seems to have come straight out of science fiction. Despite being little known, he is recorded in the legendary Book of the Dead and defies everything we imagine about Egyptian gods. But who or what exactly was Medjed? An invisible guardian, an emissary of the underworld, or perhaps something even more enigmatic? Prepare to delve into the mysteries of this unique figure who intrigues historians and captivates the imagination to this day. The ancient Egyptians had a fascinating belief in an extensive pantheon of gods who for ages interacted directly with mortals. Among these countless deities, one of the most obscure and enigmatic is Medjed. Their history remains shrouded in uncertainty and mystery, fueling the curiosity of scholars and enthusiasts to this day. It is undeniable that many of us are familiar with the narratives about the best-known Egyptian deities. Names such as Osiris, Anubis, Isis, Ra, and Thoth have become timeless icons, transcending the millennia to become part of the popular imagination. However, according to a historical document called the Turin Canon, at the beginning of Egyptian civilization, absolute power was in the hands of the gods. Only later was this power transferred to humans. In ancient Egyptian society, the gods played a fundamental role, being recognized as those responsible for bringing culture and civilization to humanity. Osiris and Thoth, in particular, were revered for their deeds in this regard. In honor of these divine figures, grand temples were built in several Egyptian cities, each dedicated to a specific deity. The Greek historian Herodotus, who had the opportunity to visit Egypt, documented in his famous work Histories that the Egyptians made offerings to the gods by burning the upper parts of the viscera and fat of animals. This practice was part of rituals deeply rooted in Egyptian culture. The visual representations of the gods, which often show human figures with animal heads, should not be seen as literal portraits. According to Egyptologists, these symbolic images reflect distinct aspects of the character or powers of each deity. Furthermore, the Egyptians believed that the bodies of the gods were made of precious materials such as gold, silver, and lapis lazuli. These divine entities exuded special aromas compared to ceremonial incense and had the ability to alter their appearance at will, adapting themselves to their purposes. Over the centuries, Egyptian religion underwent significant transformations. According to the Encyclopedia Britannica, the Egyptian pantheon included more than 150,000 gods, most of whom were little known and overshadowed by the great deities who dominated the religious scene. However, among these less prominent figures, Medjed stands out as a fascinating and unique example, both for her appearance and for her supposed powers. Medjed, with her figure shrouded in mystery, invites us to delve deeper into the beliefs of ancient Egypt and to discover the secrets that still remain hidden in its texts and artifacts. Who is Medjed? Medjed is a unique figure in the Egyptian pantheon for two main reasons. Firstly, he stands out for his unusual appearance, which sets him apart from any other deity of ancient Egyptian civilization. His peculiar image was portrayed in a unique way, found in only a few manuscripts dating from the 21st dynasty, a period between the 11th and 10th centuries BC. Among the papyri that mention Medjed are the well-known Bodmer manuscripts, London, Cairo, Turin, and the renowned Greenfield Papyrus. The Greenfield Papyrus, currently part of the British Museum collection, was a donation made by Edith Mary Greenfield. This document preserves the Book of the Dead, an important collection of Egyptian religious texts that combines words and images. In some of the manuscript's illustrations, the peculiar figure of Medjed appears. He is described as an entity with human legs and a rounded dome-like body. His eyes are visible, but he has no visible nose, mouth, ears, or arms, suggesting that much of his body was hidden under a cloak or cape. Medjed's notoriety expanded considerably when the Greenfield Papyrus was presented at an exhibition in Japan in the year 2012. His image attracted attention on Japanese social networks, where he was compared to spiritual characters from cartoons. Since then, Medjed has gained new interpretations and adaptations, appearing in games and anime, where he is often portrayed as a ghostly and mysterious figure, further reinforcing his fascination. Medjed's characteristics. In some illustrations, Medjed is depicted with a red belt positioned above or below his eyes, a detail that draws attention. Another notable peculiarity is his posture. While most Egyptian deities are represented in profile, Medjed is often shown facing forward, a rare aspect in the iconography of ancient Egypt. The Book of the Dead describes Medjed as an invisible figure with impressive powers, capable of emitting beams of light from his eyes and expelling fire from his mouth. An excerpt from the text states, "I know the name of him who strikes. He belongs to the house of Osiris and casts light from his eyes, yet remains invisible. He crosses the sky, wreathed in flames, commanding with his mouth, yet is unseen." John Taylor, curator of the British Museum, comments that information about Medjed is scarce. However, in the Book of the Dead, he is described as an entity shrouded in mystery, with supernatural abilities and an aura of enigmatic power. Medjed, an enigma of the Egyptian Pantheon. According to some interpretations, Medjed possessed extraordinary abilities that made him a unique figure. He was described as being able to cast beams of light from his eyes and expel flames from his mouth. In addition, he apparently could fly and resided in the house of Osiris. Although considered a minor deity, Medjed appears to have played a specific role in the judgment of the dead, possibly punishing souls who had transgressed. Medjed's description in the Book of the Dead reinforces his mysterious aura. He is portrayed as a hidden figure who uses beams of light as a weapon, cementing his image as an intriguing being, both in appearance and in the powers attributed to him. Egyptologists have offered various interpretations of Medjed's nature. Although generally recognized as a deity, in certain contexts he is referred to as a demon. In Egyptian terms, this term does not carry the exclusively negative connotation that it has acquired in modern understanding. Instead, it was used to describe supernatural entities that could embody the chaos or destructive aspects of greater deities. Researchers such as Ernest B. Hilda and Mykola Tarasenko suggest that Medjed's rounded form can be understood as a cloak covering his body, representing his invisible nature. His eyes, prominent in depictions, would symbolize his ability to see and act even while remaining hidden. Egyptologist Hermann Grapp has suggested that the name Medjed may have been related to a star, given its connection to light. Hilaria Kiedis has also suggested that Medjed may be a personification of an oil jar, with the red belt interpreted as a stylized clasp. Other interpretations and mysteries of Medjed. Over the centuries, several theories have emerged to try to explain the enigmatic figure of Medjed, many of them going beyond the limits of conventional knowledge. Some proposals suggest that he could be the personification of a storm, a flaming comet, or even a product of the abstract and symbolic imagination of the ancient Egyptians. Despite this, his true essence remains a mystery. Egyptologists, faced with scarce records and fragmented visual representations, can only formulate hypotheses about the meaning of this figure shrouded in shadows. The descriptions of Medjed, full of fantastic elements, continue to fuel fascination and curiosity. Imagine an invisible deity who has the power to emit rays of light from his eyes and exhale fire from his mouth. This combination of extraordinary abilities not only intrigued the ancients, but has also inspired modern interpretations full of creativity. Among the more outlandish ideas, some enthusiasts of theories about ancient astronauts or advanced civilizations believe that Medjed may represent something more than just a mystical symbol. For these alternative scholars, Medjed could be interpreted as an extraterrestrial entity, an advanced robot, or even an otherworldly technology that the ancient Egyptians witnessed. The view that Medjed shot beams of light from its eyes is, for some, an attempt by the ancients to describe something they could not fully understand. Could this description be a rudimentary way of describing an advanced technology, perhaps similar to laser beams? Or was it all a carefully crafted metaphor to convey spiritual or mythological concepts? Still, the most plausible hypothesis, according to most experts, is that Medjed was a product of the rich Egyptian imagination, created to symbolize abstract ideas or concepts that were important to their culture. There is no concrete evidence to support any of the more speculative theories, but the mystery surrounding Medjed ensures that he remains a fascinating and controversial figure in the Egyptian pantheon. Medjed is an enigmatic figure in the Egyptian Pantheon, mentioned primarily in the Book of the Dead, a collection of religious texts intended to help the deceased navigate the underworld and achieve eternal life. Although his presence in the records is limited, he has gained notoriety for his unique depictions and mysterious descriptions. Origin and historical references. Medjed is mentioned only in a few passages in the Book of the Dead, most notably in the Greenfield Papyrus dated to the 21st dynasty, roughly 1777–943 BC. This document was crucial in preserving the memory of this figure. He is also described as belonging to the House of Osiris, suggesting a direct connection with the god of death and resurrection. This association may indicate that Medjed played a specific role related to the judgment of the dead or the protection of the domain of Osiris. The depiction of Medjed as a hooded figure with visible eyes is unique in Egyptian art. Unlike most gods who are depicted in profile, Medjed appears from the front, a rare detail in Egyptian iconography. Possible meanings and symbolism. Medjed is described as a powerful entity, capable of shooting beams of light from his eyes and breathing fire from his mouth. These attributes position him as a feared and respected figure. These characteristics could symbolize divine protection or punishment, depending on the context. The description of Medjed as invisible may relate to the idea of hidden forces, or the personification of something beyond human perception, such as wind, light, or a spiritual manifestation. Some Egyptologists believe that Medjed is a symbolic representation, perhaps of an abstract concept such as justice, retribution, or spiritual energy. His name, which can be translated as the striker or the one who strikes, reinforces this interpretation. Modern popularity. In 2012, the Greenfield Papyrus was exhibited in Japan, and the figure of Medjed caught the public's attention. His peculiar appearance led to comparisons with cartoon ghosts and even inspired characters in games and anime. The simplicity of his design and aura of mystery made Medjed a popular icon on social media, especially in communities that enjoy humor based on dark stories and mythologies. In addition, Medjed has appeared in games such as Fate Grand Order and has been reimagined as a ghostly figure, further expanding his notoriety. Alternative theories. Some theories go further and suggest that Medjed could symbolize a storm, a comet, or even be a figment of the abstract imagination of the ancient Egyptians. Others suggest that he could be a representation of advanced technology, such as a robot or an extraterrestrial entity, due to his unusual description and attributed abilities. Medjed's rays of light and invisibility are seen by some as a rudimentary attempt to describe something technologically advanced that the Egyptians did not understand. Another hypothesis is that Medjed was a mythological creation to represent the fear of the unknown or the invisible power of divine justice. His mysteries continue to fascinate both experts and the modern public. His figure remains shrouded in questions without definitive answers, reinforcing his position as one of the most curious and enigmatic deities of ancient Egypt. The representation of Medjed, reality or symbolism. The representation of Medjed is one of the most intriguing aspects of this mysterious figure of the Egyptian pantheon. It is unclear whether visual representations of Medjed were created based on specific descriptions from the Book of the Dead, or whether artists of the time had a preconceived idea of how he should be portrayed. His peculiar form, with 2 legs, a body seemingly covered by a cloak or cloth, and visible eyes, raises fascinating questions about his nature. Is this appearance merely symbolic, reflecting abstract concepts, or was it intended to represent something more literal? The characteristics attributed to Medjed, such as his invisibility and the ability to shoot beams of light from his eyes, are rare among Egyptian deities. While these details may seem like an accurate description, it should be remembered that many depictions of Egyptian gods were deeply symbolic. The ancient Egyptians often used images to illustrate specific aspects of a deity's character or powers, rather than trying to show what these beings might actually look like. Thus, the cloak covering Medjed's body may symbolize mystery, protection, or something beyond human comprehension. It is equally possible that Medjed's appearance was created to stimulate the imagination or symbolize something inaccessible to the human senses. The combination of human legs and a veiled form is unique and may have been an attempt to visually capture a divine concept that eluded conventional representation. This makes Medjed a perfect example of how Egyptian religion often mixed the tangible with the abstract, creating images that defy simple interpretation. Despite his peculiar appearance, Medjed is also notable for his connection to the Book of the Dead and his role in the House of Osiris. This suggests that he played an important role in Egyptian mythology, even if his exact function remains shrouded in mystery. He may have been seen as a guardian, an agent of divine punishment, or a manifestation of unknown spiritual forces. An invitation to the imagination. Descriptions and depictions of Medjed continue to stimulate our imagination. Whether as a metaphor, created by the ancient Egyptians, or as the embodiment of something greater, Medjed is a figure that invites questioning. He is a reminder of how ancient cultures used symbolism to explore complex concepts that are often impenetrable to us today. Medjed undoubtedly stands out as one of the strangest and most fascinating figures in the Egyptian pantheon. His mystery continues to captivate scholars, history buffs, and those who are drawn to enigmas of the past. Did you enjoy learning more about Medjed and his mysteries? If you made it this far, thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to like, share with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. See you next time.